G'day guys, we're Dom and Jesso and welcome back to another video of our van build series. In today's video we're going to be going through everything to do with our kitchen build, which is right behind us. Don't know if you can see, but it's beautiful.
So we're going through all the steps from the framing, making the kitchen drawers, installing the fridge and oven, the bench top, sink, overhead pantry, tiles, the whole lot. At the end of the video, we'll give you our review of how it's going because we've been traveling in it for about 5 months now.
We'll tell you what's held up, if things haven't held up, what our opinion is. We're pretty excited to show you guys our build. Let's get into it.
Alright, so yeah, I've completed the kitchen framing. Basically what I've used is 2x4s and I've stripped them down to 20mm widths. So it's 45 by 20mm and they're really good and strong and nice and straight. So it's pretty easy to put together. Yeah, so I've got my space for the oven and then this is our space for the fridge. Got a big 85 litre fridge going in there and then the other bits will be our drawers. So you can see here I've started on some drawers. I've opted for some space saving drawers because our kitchen's quite small and we got some big appliances in there. I had to make some room to be able to fit all our kitchen stuff in. So this top drawer will be for the cutlery and all our cooking utensils. Under here will be for our bowls and plates and stuff. Trying to maximise all the space that we've got. And I'm going to do the same for this drawer here. Okay, so first up you want to cut all the sides of your drawers. I use 12mm ply for all the sides and 6mm ply for the bottom. So then you want to route out your grooves for the bottom of the drawer to slide into. This is a really common technique for building drawers. This adds extra strength to the bottom of the drawer but also saving weight because I only use 6mm ply for the bottom. So you can either do this by router. I did it on the table saw. So you just set the blade, I think I set it at about 6mm or 5mm height and I inset from the edge probably about 10mm just so there's enough lip on it that will hold the 6mm ply in the groove. So I do that to all 4 pieces and then you just want to make sure that your 6mm ply fits into the groove. Just give it a test fit to make sure it all lines up and it's all going to work before you fix it all together. And then once you're happy with it, get your missus to sand and paint all faces and then you can start gluing and screwing. I did all the sides first, so front and both sides, and then I slid the bottom piece into the grooves and then after that you want to put the back piece on. So for the insert to work, I added some inside rails. Now these will support the insert. I lined them up to the top of the back piece. So once your drawer's made up, then you can mount your drawer slides to the framing of the kitchen. Then you just do a little test fit, make sure it all lines up. Here's where you can do all your little adjustments. So this is the final product of the drawer. So I'll just go into detail about the insert. So as you saw in the video, these are the support rails. So to create the insert, I just made sure that the height of the drawer was no more than the sides of the big drawer. Now, the trick to get this to slide in and out without tipping out the back is to have these supports run across the top. So I've just run it for about halfway along the drawer to the back. And what it does is it holds the top of the drawer in the slides. So it doesn't tip down the back of the end of the drawer. You might find it's a bit sticky trying to slide it. So to fix that problem, you just get a bit of a candle wax and just wax all the parts that cause friction and it just helps it slide nice and easily. I waxed them up when we first finished the van and it's 5 months later and it still slides really good. So 2 full drawers in one.
Alrighty, so now that our wooden bench top is cut to size, we've got our hole for the sink, we've got our hole for the oven grill, I'm going to go in and stain all the bits that have been cut so it's all the same colour. So this was actually one of the sample pots that we got when we were testing for our wooden roof ceiling. It wasn't the colour that we went for, but it turns out that this is a perfect match for the acacia golden benchtop that we went for. So I'm going to use that to do all around the edges here. That should come up really nicely, I hope. Already looks so much better. Look at that. Alright, so now that the stain has dried, look how good our little chopping board area looks. I'm going to go in with the benchtop clear. This is a bit different to the Cabothane clear because this is a food grade safe to use on your kitchen benchtop specifically. So I'm going to go with that. We chose it in satin because we didn't want it too glossy and too shiny. And I think you've got to let it dry for 24 hours between each coat. So I'm going to go in with the first coat now and hopefully we'll just need to. We're about to mount our sink. I've finished staining and varnishing our benchtop. So now we're going to undermount the sink. This is what it's looking like so far. Got a little hole for the tap and this is the sink space. So we're going to be using these L-shaped brackets to mount the benchtop to the kitchen frame. And then we're going to be using these screws and brackets to mount the sink underneath there. We have 2 of 8 mounts in. So we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8?
Yeah.
Yeah? These ones came with the sink and then yeah, we're going to use silicone and glue around it as well.
Got the kitchen bench in now. We just bought that from Bunnings.
It came as a beautiful golden acacia colour originally, but we ended up sanding it down to its original wood and we stained it with dark oak stain and then 2 layers of the benchtop varnish and it's turned out beautiful. It's a bit more of a rich orangey colour compared to the golden acacia as it came, and we've got this beautiful little chopping board sink piece like that. So today is a really exciting day with the van build. The plumbers are currently here. We're certified, so that means our gas is certified by a licensed gas fitter plumber, and yesterday we had the electrician come round and we've had all of our electrical work signed off and that's all passed its safety checks, so it means we're one step closer to getting our van signed off as a motorhome. Good morning guys. So since our plumber has signed off all of our LPG gas, I thought it would only be right to test out our gas stove slash oven and make us a coffee. We've currently got it going. So basically it's a 3-burner gas stove. It's the Thetford Triplex MK3 and it's also an oven as well, which is going to be a game changer for van life. Honestly, we're both so happy that we've chosen to have an oven in this van because we never had anything as quite luxurious as this in our old van. So now we can make all sorts of things. We can cook pizzas, we can make brownies, whatever we like, so it's gonna be so good. Coffee is served. You can have the pretty one. Cheers. First coffee in the van! We've just figured out that we're actually livable if we wanted to be.
Van is now livable.
Let's go road trip tonight!
Maybe look out.
Woo! We've got an oven, we've got a bed, we've got electrical. Like, we could go if we wanted to. So,
Very far.
tell me what we've got left to do at this stage.
So obviously got to fill out the kitchen with the drawers. We're waiting on a bin. I've got to connect up the plumbing for the sink, which I'm ready to do. Got to build some cupboard doors for that and that up there and down behind Dommy there. Finish off this seat. That's basically done. Currently working out the sofa for here so we can fit the toilet in. Bed's pretty much done. Currently building shelves for that one and that one. And that's pretty much it.
Jess, this is you.
I'm pointing to everything. So I thought I'd just touch on the plumbing a bit. I haven't really gone into detail about what I've done. I'm not experienced and I don't feel like I'm someone who's capable of teaching anyone about plumbing because I have no idea about it myself. I'll just let you know like what I've done and what I've used. So basically I've gone with shark bite PEX, and it's just a push to fit system, and you just use this shark bite. It's just a plastic pipe, PEX pipe, and all you do is cut the ends off. You got to get a deburring tool, take the edge off, and then just shove it in, just push it in. These are really good for like van systems and that because they're adjustable. Like you can actually take them back out again if you need to, or if your joints haven't worked properly and there's a leak, you can redo it again. So I'm up to the point now where all my shark bites installed, all the pipes are connected to all the components, and I'm up to the final install of my from sink to the grey water tank. I'm going to install this and then we'll be all ready to test out all the plumbing, so you can judge me on my plumbing skills and we can find any leaks together. Alright, we're just doing our first little leak test. Just giving it a go. Dom's filling the tanks. Just checking our connections under here into our freshwater tank. So far so good. No signs of any leaks, so that's good. We'll check the other fittings as we keep going. Alright, so this is what I was saying about the shark bite PEX system. So if you got a leak, which we do, been all good except for this T section down here. We got a leak coming through, so I'll take that out and fix up the connection of that. Alright, so you can see here I didn't do the deburring of the edge any good, and it's a bit serrated. So what I'll do is I'll just chop a little bit more off here, do a better deburr, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. Alright, I found my second leak. I didn't put thread tape on this one. That was a bit of an oopsie. There you go. Thank you, Dom. Clean this mess up. I was wondering why the pump was clicking over, and it's because of this.
So we are actually installing the Thirsty Nomad water filtration system. So this is our permanent one that's going inside the van underneath the sink here. It's basically a 5-in-1, so 5 micron carbon fibre block, heavy metal removal, antibacterial, 1 micron activated media, 0.001 micron quantum disinfection media. I'm exhausted saying all that. But yeah, we're going to be drinking some nice clean water throughout our travels around Australia, aren't we, Jess?
Yeah, better than drinking bottled water. This just screws into your BSP fittings. So literally just unhook, screw in, Bob's your uncle. Easy peasy, mate. The only thing you're going to make sure is that your arrows are pointing in the direction of water. So because it's coming up, so we want the arrows to go up. Like that. Easy peasy.
Alrighty, so next up Jess is installing the last vent into the van.
Yeah, I just bought this from Bunnings. Glued some fly screen on it, and I'm just going to put it down behind the fridge here. What I've done is I've hooked up 2 computer fans to our fridge compressor system.
We're here with our Bushman fridge, and before we install it, Jess has got a little word to say.
Alright, so I'll just update you on where we're at. I installed 2 extra computer fans to the compressor of the fridge. There's one here and there's one up behind the sink here. And so what it does is I've wired them into the compressor of the fridge. So when the fridge turns on to cool down, both these fans will turn on at the same time. I've placed them up as high as I can so it'll blow the hot air out from behind here into behind the seating area, and then that'll have a vent that'll just go up into the living space. So it should blow all the hot air out. There's also a little vent from the outside down here. Should then replace with cooler air. So today we're tackling the overhead cabinets. I think I've come up with a pretty good plan to make some pretty sturdy and lightweight cabinets. So I'm going to use the same framing as I have for the kitchen. I went to Bunnings and bought the 2x4s, 90 by 45 mil, and stripped them down into 2x1s, so 20 by 45s. This was really strong in the kitchen when it was all put together, so I thought this would be really good for the overhead cabinets as well. So I'm going to use that for the framing. I'm using this 6mm marine ply for our dividers. So I traced them yesterday to the shape of the van. You can see like the roof and even the back of the van, or the wall of the van's a bit of an odd shape. So I went and got the shape of them. So I'll piece it together like I have here, and then I've got to cut these to size, fit in there. I'm then going to use verticals like that. So basically that'll be our front face and it'll be held together like that. And then to hold these in, mounting brackets to mount that to the verticals like that. Once it's all put together, it'll be all nice and sturdy and strong. This is the basic shape of our frame, coming together quite nicely. And Dom has just asked me, why didn't I do a full piece that goes all the way across to there? Well, Dom, let me explain. The curve of the roof of our roof slants down like that. So what I'm going to do instead is just do a piece lower for our frame.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're going to have a smaller door here.
Yeah.
And what I've done is I've inset it 6mm because I'm going to put 6mm ply that's just going to act as a face. We'll have the frame like that, and this frame and this frame will sit 6mm in. So then when I cut the 6mm ply face, that will curve to the shape of the van.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be in line with the rest of the frame.
Are you happy?
Strong as.
Are you happy with them?
That's fantastic.
Alright guys, so we have got the framing of the overhead cabinets up. Yeah, this is what it's looking like so far. We're hoping to have all the fronts finished by the end of today. It looks great so far. Do you like it, Jess?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You happy with it?
It's not my finest work, but
I think it looks pretty good.
I think it's pretty strong. I think it's really strong and super lightweight, like really lightweight, which is good. I'd say it's maybe 10 kilos.
Let's get an angle from the back.
Alright, so I thought I'd give you a rundown of how we're doing the cupboard doors. So basically just cut some premium pine down to 45-degree angles. We'll just frame it together like that. Use some wood glue, nails and staples. Staples hold together really well. This is put together, a couple staples in there, nails in there and just glue. It's really strong and sturdy. And then after that, route out a little rebate and then cut your piece of plywood to size. This is just a 6mm marine ply and just slot it in.
Hey! Alrighty guys, another night on the van build. We are currently installing hinges and gas struts onto our overhead cabinets. They're all sanded and painted now.
Yeah, just got to fit off the hardware, fit the doors and then install. Let's get into it.
We'll do a time lapse. Alright, so we've put all the hinges onto the doors and now we're going to learn how to do the gas struts. Hopefully that's a nice easy job. Yeah, it's looking good. Alright guys, we're back. Since I last recorded, we've put in the window boxes so that we can finally start tiling. Neither of us have done this before, so hopefully we'll manage to do it without any wonky tiles or I don't know what else could go wrong really.
Wonky tiles I think is the worst of it. Tiling can't be that hard, surely.
We'll see. So we accidentally stole a basket from Bunnings, but we'll return it next time we go. We've got 50 beige tiles and this is the stuff that we're going to be using. So we've got the spacers, we've got the glass cutter, we've got a sponge, spreader, wall tile adhesive and grout. Alright, so we're just laying them out roughly to see how many we're going to need, and it seems like the only ones that we're going to have to cut are the ones that are going to be in this corner here. Look like they're going to have to be like, what, half squares?
Yeah, there's a good chunk left on them, which is good. I didn't want to cut like a little tiny sliver.
Yeah.
So that's why I was checking that.
So we're going to start off with using the wall tile adhesive. We're also going to just clean off any dust or whatever on the walls just to make sure we've got a clean backing. I think we've got 40 minutes to do this before it starts setting. You have to get the job done within 40 minutes. So let's hope we can do it. Alright guys, we are one layer of the tiling done. It's a bit harder than it looks and it creates a lot of mess. Like the adhesive seems to go everywhere, and then in the gaps which are really small, like between the bench top and the bottom of the windowsill, we couldn't fit the scraper to go horizontally like you're supposed to, so you know we had to go vertically, and you just hope that it still works.
Definitely a challenge to it. It's just trying to get them all straight. This whole van, like nothing has been straight. So to try and, you know, get anything straight, the walls, the window sills, the kitchen, it's all not wonky, but like nothing is perfect. And so when something is a tiny bit out and then something else is a tiny bit out, then trying to get everything else to like line up is quite difficult. So I don't know, we've done the best we can. Hopefully it turns out alright.
Yeah.
At this stage, we're just eyeballing it.
Yeah, as long as the tiles don't fall out while we're driving and they're kind of straight, that's all we could ask for.
So because it's a angled shape, bit of a funny shape, when I cut on an angle, it's going to cut nicely until we get to the end, and then the end will blow out. So I watched a video yesterday and the guy said cut it, and then once you get to maybe 10 or 15 mil from the edge, lift your blade and just scribe the first bit and then come back and cut it, and it'll stop that from the end blowing out.
Alright, we're 3 rows in over here. Now we've just got to complete our second row on this side, and that'll be us done for today. Alright, so now that we've finished putting the tiles in, we're going to come back in 24 hours and start with the grout tomorrow. Hi!
Hello! So we're 24 hours later. They're still stuck to the wall, so that's the best thing. Yeah, so we just gave them a bit of a clean up, just cleaned up all the extra adhesive that was a bit messy. I think now we are ready to start grouting. Yeah, we got our bucket of water, sponges, and our grout already pre-mixed and ready to go. So yeah, should be good.
Let's go! Lollipop, 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 boom, 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 lollipop.
Okay, get out of my face.
Alright, so we've made the little fronts for the drawers in the kitchen, and Jess has gone in and he's given them a really nice groove around all the corners using the router. So I'm going to prime paint them now and paint them green, and then we can mount them to our kitchen fronts. Alright guys, so we hope that you love our kitchen in our van. We absolutely love it. And now it's time for our 5-month review, honest opinion of the kitchen and how it's going. So first thing that I've got to say is, overall, it is pretty good and most things have been awesome and held up. However, there's been some small things that haven't held up. So the first one is these little corners that we put on for details. When we drive over corrugated tracks or whatever, the little nails in them have come loose. I think because we nailed them into the joins of the wood, and so the corners kept falling out. We have managed to just put them back in every time. They've only fallen out maybe 3 or 4 times, but it is just one of those annoying things that we've had to kind of fix along the way. The next is all of our tiles are amazing. They held up, and we've been on lots of corrugated tracks, so we didn't know whether they were going to hold up, whether they were going to crack. They have stayed amazingly. The only thing that we have noticed is just down this area here where the tiles join, there is like a slight crack within the grout, not on the tiles, just on the grout line. It's definitely not noticeable. That's the only thing with the tiles that we can see that has changed.
Alright, so next up is our chopping board. At the start of our finished van build, you might have seen it actually bananaed due to summer heat. As the weather warms up, wood tends to expand, and because it was sat in such a tight fitting place, it bananaed it. But now as we've gone into winter, starting to get a bit cooler, it's shrunk again, and you can see it's less bananaed and fits quite nicely. So one of the things that hasn't really held up too well is the drawer locks. So we put on the back of the drawers like ball catchers, and so I've had to adjust them and put some stronger ones on, because when we go down corrugation roads they tend to shake loose, and we'll find when we pull up to the place some of the drawers are swinging open. When we first started travelling, our plates and bowls one came flying open.
Everything smashed.
And unfortunately we had a few things break. That was a quick learning curve to put some stronger ones on or tighten up the ball catch. But yeah, now that we've done that, it all holds up pretty well.
So overall, Jess, what do you rate the kitchen out of 10 for functionality and how well it's turned out?
Probably an 8 out of 10, I would say. My only thing that I don't really like about it is, and it's just because I ran out of time, but our pantry is not very organised. It's probably the thing that's not organised in this van. But you can see here, we've bought these plastic containers to try and hold everything in, which it does, it works well. Ideally what we should have done is built some shelves up the top here, just to stock some more stuff, just enough to hold cans. Apart from that, it's not too bad. Alright, so that's it for our kitchen video. Thanks for tuning in. If you found any helpful tips or anything, drop us a like. If you have any questions or
want to know anything else about our kitchen build, then leave us a comment. Make sure to subscribe as well, and stay tuned because coming soon is our garage and bed video.
Some interesting and unique features in that, so yeah, make sure you click subscribe to find out when the next... Oh, spit it out. Yeah. Click subscribe to follow along to see when the next video comes out.
Alright guys, we'll see you in the next one. See you later.
Bye bye.